Greetings everyone, Brian Morris, Team Trilogy 2021. Today we're going to do a Bounty review and we're going to compare two different plastics. Okay, so the Bounty comes in at a speed 4, glide 5, turn negative 1.5 with a fade of 0.5. So we got a straight flying disc here. We've got Bounty in the Lucid plastic, and we've got the Bounty in the Prime plastic with the Beaver Branch Disc Golf Course home course stamp. So we want to see if there's any difference between the plastics. I do know, like with the EMAC Truth, between Lucid and the Prime plastic, the EMAC is very flat and a lot more stable. So right off the bat, I think this doesn't seem quite as flat, but I'd say that the Prime plastic does look a little bit flatter. So let's check them out and see how they do. Alrighty everyone, here's a look at the Bounty. It has a really nice grip. It's a mid-range biodynamic discs. It has a small bead on the bottom and kind of a concave rim there. So we're starting off here as usual, just a couple warm-up shots. This is going to be like a 50% power shot release on a Hyzer, and you can see that it straightens up a little bit, but the Bounty really needs a little extra juice to stand up. So the first two are the Prime plastic, and these are the Lucid plastic. So the Prime plastic is the baseline plastic, which a lot of people avoid. Some people like to use it when it's wet out. Here's a look at the shots, and you can see that most of them are pretty much within 30 feet of one another, and the two Lucid ones were really close. All right, here we got Hyzer flip to straight. The Bounty has been called the mid-range version of the Maverick, and I can partially agree with that. It does like to stand up and it does like to straighten. So I'm using probably 75-80% power here to make it stand up and go straight, Hyzer flipping it straight. And that's something that the Maverick does wonderfully. And it's a little bit easier to get the Maverick to do that than it is the Bounty. Bounty, you have to put a little bit more juice on it. But once you get it, it does stand up. Here you can see the Lucid version. And you can see both of the Prime were to the right and the Lucids were to the left. I'm sorry, there was a Prime off to the left there. And here we have Anhyzer shots, releasing them on an Anhyzer and rolling them over just to see what kind of line they would make. And you can see these Prime ones had a beautiful Anhyzer. It didn't really want to flex out of it, but it didn't want to roll over and turn into a roller. And the Lucid ones wanted to fight out a little bit more. So the Lucid ones so far were just slightly more stable than the Prime. This one I threw a little bit low, but it's still got some good D. So on this one, you will see that both of the Prime did get further over to the right, and both of the pink Lucid discs are off to the left. But pretty good Anhyzer, probably about a 300-foot shot for where that was. And lastly, we're going to throw a couple distance shots. Obviously, this is a mid-range, but getting into it, you can see with the Hyzer release, it stands up and flies nice and straight. I would say that did look like a Maverick, the way that it flew, the mid-range version of it. And you can see we got 301 feet on that one. This one got a little bit further. I will say that the Prime did not seem as domey as I said in the intro. The Lucid one definitely had a slightly bigger dome, but both of them flew approximately the same distance. Lucid in this case definitely seemed slightly more stable, as you can see it fighting back out here. I would agree with the flight numbers. The 0.5 on the fade, it doesn't really hyzer back too much. The turn at negative 1.5, you can see that here on that release. It straightens up pretty easily. Glide of 5, it does like to stay in the air. And speed of 4. Not really getting too much D out of these. About 300 feet for all of them, which is pretty good. Here you can see the spread, both of the Prime on the right and the Lucid on the left. This is a nice disc, a good woods disc. Flies like a beat up rock or a Cobra from the Innova group. And it was a really nice time throwing the bounty. We'll see you on the next one.